Just really, really happy, obviously, with the outcome, but more happy with our process and what we've learned and what we applied tonight. That was our whole last 2 days from Minnesota, was learning from some of the mistakes we made, cleaning everything up, and then everything was about applying and executing tonight. And we did that, I thought, at a high level against, I have so much respect for Iowa, their program. They're a really, really good team. And to be able to hold a team like Iowa to 57 points, I think speaks to what we're capable of defensively when we are locked in. And when we are, playing 5 people guarding the ball, we're sharper in our ball screen coverage. We had great urgency on shooters. They only had 5 threes. Lucy Olsen had 10 in the first half and only 6 in the second half, which I thought Dell did an unbelievable job on her. KB playing 40 minutes against Stolke and O'Grady. That's hard. And then getting 17 and 14 on the other end. It's just, I could go down the line, but this is, there's certain games that mean a lot, and this is one that means a lot. We've been through a lot. There's been a lot of adversity thrown our way, but I can tell you one thing, these kids, the character of them, how they've come together, how they believed, how connected they are, it just makes me so happy, and I'm just so happy for them and proud of them.
Go ahead and raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone for questions for our student athletes. We've got Kendall Bostic on the left, Adalia McKenzie on the right. No,
I guess for both of you, Shauna, this one meant a lot. What did this mean for you guys to, obviously facing adversity the last couple of weeks, to get a ranked win here?
I think it's huge. Last game, I think we'd protected our home court pretty well this season, and then we, lost the last one to Washington. So I think we kind of came out with a newfound hunger just to kind of come back and make a statement again. But it's huge. Beating a ranked team at home is a great feeling, especially Iowa, because they're such a high caliber program, high caliber team. But I think it does mean a lot because I feel like people are looking at us as underdogs now, and there's a lot of people on this team that can step up at any moment and do anything for us and provide. Jazz has stepped into a huge role and done really, really good for us. So I think a lot of people are kind of counting us out, but I also think we made a statement today saying we may be down people, but don't count us out for anything.
For other players, Coach kind of mentioned, on radio, just feeling like before the game tonight, she sensed that there was a togetherness and connectedness of this team going into tonight's game. What kind of, did you have that sense maybe as players as well, and what kind of maybe led to that approach?
Yeah, I said the same thing. I just had a really good feeling as soon as I woke up and when I walked in the gym. And just the preparation, we prepared at a really high level, and I wouldn't want to go into battle with anyone else. And we have a dog mentality, so we really wanted this one, and you just know sometimes. And I just feel like our focus has been at a really high level collectively, and it showed tonight.
Del, I know it's been 10 months since you saw Lucy at the final in Hinkle. Did you take anything from that confidence-wise of knowing you could guard her and knowing that you were a tough guard for her?
Yeah, she's one of the best players in the country. She's a really good player, and I always like guarding the best players, and it's a real challenge guarding her because she's really good. But I just remember that last game and remember the feeling because I know the first half of that game she was going off. And I hated that feeling, and I just want to make sure that I did my job and make it hard for her tonight.
Kendall, I don't think you subbed out and then a double-double, and you threw the ball, kind of had that moment after. What emotions swept over you for that, and what's the key to, you've got tape all over your leg, the key to being able to be productive with this kind of situation here?
Yeah, I feel like I've, all season played 40, so I'm kind of conditioned to do it. And it's also, as a fifth year, I know when I can take my breaks on the court, and knowing when I can't. So usually, sometimes you'll see me, if they got a fast break, you'll see me just kind of hang out. And it's just knowing how to
I told you to that one time.
Yeah.
And I've never done that. I said, KB, just,
yeah.
and then I went, then go.
Yeah, so it's just kind of knowing when I can take my breaks and maximizing, because I am banging around with girls. The last couple games, everyone's been at least 6'5" in some position. So I gotta put a lot of my effort into defense. But yeah, just the emotion. This is like I love this game every year because I feel like everyone, you know, every time Iowa goes somewhere, they have a big fan base. There's always a huge following, and so I think it's a big game for everybody. But just having that one at home, especially like in the 5th year, like it's huge, and just being able to go out there and play like we did and like bounce back like we did, it was huge.
For both of you guys, what clicked defensively tonight, and it's a season low points for them and shooting percentage?
I just think that we played at our standard. I feel like the couple games that we dropped, we just weren't doing that. But again, the preparation and just having that elite focus and executing on defense, high communication and awareness, knowing where shooters are. And I feel like we just did really good just pulling everything together defensively and just sticking to our standard.
Lots of teams have maybe a player or two that they need the ball in their hands when they need a bucket. It seems like it could be either of you guys and 3 or 4 others, and that's with players being injured. Is that rare to have that many players that can hit a kill shot, if you want to call it that?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of schools, you know, in scout, you're like, they're going to get to this girl in the last second. But, like, we have so many plays for so many different people, and, like, so many people can play different positions that I think it's really hard to guard and really hard to scout. You know, you have Dow bulldozing downhill, Jen and Jazz can both shoot and drive. You know, Bryn from the high post or the 3 or down low. You know, me down low or the high post. So I think there's just a variety, and I think it makes it really, really hard because everyone on this team is capable, brings their own different thing to the table. So yeah, I think it's pretty rare, but it's pretty cool.
You mentioned everyone's kind of counting you guys out, and you two have both at various points in your careers kind of been on teams, but that's been the case. And do you relish maybe that being looked at like that, or like what's that do for you guys?
Yeah, we thrive in that, I think, and I think it just gives us a different mentality because we know what we're capable of. We do it every day in practice. We hold ourselves to a really, really high standard here, and you know, sometimes I feel like we can get lackadaisical when we start winning games and we just kind of start rolling with it, but you know, I think Washington and Minnesota were kind of a slap to the face. It's like, hey, like you got to wake up, like this league's good, and I think that's good for us. And I also think, you know, with everyone being out, people are just kind of counting us out because, you know, people are playing that normally aren't, or people are a little out of position. And so I think it's really, really good for us to kind of know that people have that mentality of us, because I think we thrive in that. Like, I think everyone just buys in and is like, no, like we're good. We're going to prove it to you. So.
I agree. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. And I feel like that helps us be humble and just work really hard. Right? When people are doubting you, we want to prove to ourselves and, you know, and show everybody who we are. And I feel like it just helps us. Like KB said, we thrive in it. And I feel like at times we appreciate it, you know. So.
Yes, and then we'll get you a microphone for a question by Coach.
Yes, Shauna, just to elaborate, listening to you with Mike on the radio, it looks like you were kind of processing a lot of different emotions. Can you maybe go into more detail what this meant to have this game?
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's been a rough few weeks. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say it's been tough. You know, everything. You know, so many emotions of it all. You feel for your kids. You feel for the kids dealing with injuries. You feel for your team. But at the end of the day, like, I got to continue to lead, so I got to continue to process all that. And when this group is just so special, you know, and now you have all these high expectations coming in, and then you have some of these things that happen, and you know, you just feel so bad because you're like, you know, we had all this momentum going, but then at the end of the day, that's just, again, I always reference basketball and life, and that's life. Like, things happen that are out of your control, things happen that, you know, no one wants, and it sucks, but what are you gonna do? And you know, that's where everything's just been for us, like, you know, we keep fighting, we keep attacking, we keep trying to just one day at a time, and we believe so much in each other, and I believe so much in these kids, and they're so connected. And sometimes when you go through hard things, you get tighter, and then sometimes when you don't have as many you know, people that are, you know, active and able to play, you get even tighter, and it's just been really, it's been really cool to see as a leader how they've just responded, and nothing's really fazed them. And I really believe if this happened last year, our first year, it would have been totally different. So when you take a step back as a leader, all the things that we're trying to teach them, not about basketball, but about life and about character and how to respond, and you know, things are going to happen, and how do you respond to adversity, you know, and all of those things that we can control. It's just been really awesome for me to see them And that's where at the end of the game, like this win for me, yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm from Iowa. I love to beat Iowa. This one was so much bigger because of the emotional piece of like wanting it so bad for our players. Like I wanted this so bad for them. And to see them celebrate that and get that from all their hard work and staying together, it was really cool.
Coach back here, I just first wanted to ask you about Jasmine and the way she stepped up into the role that she's taken, and even just everyone else having to step up even into a bigger role than they might have even had even already as a starter.
Yeah, I mean, Jazz has been great. You know, we're having her play point. You guys have heard me talk about that. She's, you know, not a true point. It's not like what she is, I would say, but she's getting better and better. She only had 1 turnover tonight, and that's every game. She just keeps getting better, keeps getting more confident. She hit some big time shots in the 4th. You know, the pull up, the drive on that left side, and then her defense. Like her and Dal, like, you know, Dal had primary on Lucy tonight, because I think if I took Dal off her, she would have yelled at me. We've been talking about, you know, this since in the summer. They're running sprints on the treadmill, and I'm standing on the other treadmill next to Dal, and it's hard. They're doing all their sprints, and I'm yelling at her just to like mess with her and get in her head about, you got to be in condition to guard Lucy Olsen. Like we've been talking about this because we knew she was going to be at Iowa, and obviously she's an unbelievable player. I think she's one of the best players in the country, and she's super, super hard to guard and neutralize. And so I kept reminding Dal about that today. Like, you trained for this, you're ready. Like you know, just pouring confidence into her. But so with Jazz and you know, Dal being able to guard, she's been huge. 10 points, 3 assists, only 1 turnover. Her growth has been, and you got to remember, she was out there for a good month, 3 or so weeks too, with a concussion. So her and Barry both have been really, really huge for us, and they're both just starting to kind of find their groove. Obviously, Barry was out a little bit longer, but I'm so happy with those two and their growth.
And same thing with Kendall. I mean, we talk about the 40 minutes a lot, but you see she's got medical tape. I mean, I can't imagine she's feeling the best she's ever felt, but what's it tell you about her that she's able to put all that maybe beside her and go out and have this kind of game? Toughness, grit, passion, all the things we want in our players is what she's doing, and they're all, you know, Jen, if you look, I told you guys she didn't even practice yesterday. That's toughness. That's you know, it's just these guys. They're relentless. They're competitors. They love to compete. So again, what I love most is when we have really tough, gritty kids, and that's what they showed tonight.
Shauna, you kind of just talked about radio, just getting back to who you are. What does that kind of look like, and what did you kind of see tonight from that you can maybe carry forward this season?
You know, I also think we have to look at, and I had to kind of see it. So first, Oregon, we played with Gretchen, and then Washington, we thought Gretchen was going to try to play up until she warmed up. So that was kind of, I think it kind of messed us up. Not even me, because I knew, but I think just everyone. We kind of planned on it. No excuses, but so we didn't play with her. So now we've played Minnesota 2 games now, 3 games with this one without her. So I think we're kind of starting, they got to learn how to kind of play together. They got to learn, I mean, Jazz being in those moments down the stretch in the 4th, Barry being in big time moments, and they hadn't been in that. So I think now we kind of are starting, like, it's just going to take some time to figure that out with this group. And I forgot what you asked me.
Just getting back to who you are as a team and what does that kind of look like moving forward?
So I went in that long tangent because I think I had to take a step back and be like, okay, this is a different team. Like, we are different. Like, it's called what it is. We're not the same without Makaira and Gretchen out there, Shay. I mean, Letty, we've known we haven't had her, right? So yeah, we're different, but really the last 2 days has been about that Minnesota game. We had that game. And I take all responsibility for it. I should have done what I've done the last 2 days about trying to clean stuff up and really getting back to the basics. So that's all we did. And our prep was about offensive execution, spacing, what we want out of each play. In Minnesota, we were calling plays. We ran 2 wrong plays in the fourth quarter that I'm yelling, and we didn't run right. That's focus, that's execution, that's discipline. Again, that's on me, but you didn't see that tonight. Everything we wanted. We called the play out of a timeout. We wanted KB with the ball. We got KB the ball. We wanted, Jazz going downhill. We wanted to pass back and in. They executed at an elite level. And then it was all about defense. And with me, it was everything in our prep was about defense, who we are, hang our hat on that, 5 people guarding the ball, positioning, keeping their post high, they score off angles, and then guarding the 3-point line, because we have done an awful job of that the last 2 games, awful, and they only had 5 tonight. But credit our players, they executed. I got to prepare them, but they got to go out there and do it, and that's why I'm so happy for them.
Coach, I got 2 for you, but can getting the news that you got yesterday almost, I don't know if closure is the right word, it's obviously bad news, but to know that they're not coming back and be able to look ahead and not have to wonder when you might get them back, can that be beneficial for your team?
I think for the team, we've kind of all known, we didn't know, but obviously Makira hasn't played, we've known what they're dealing with, we've known the processes of them trying to come back, all this, there's so much to it all that no one on the outside knows, right? So I think we've had some time to kind of process it and think, this, but then when decisions, the kids and their families and all of us staff, we have to make, decisions. But I think it was for the team and just even, they're out in the community and everyone's asking them. Even the kids, Makira and Gretchen, I know they've got a lot of questions when they're out in the community. So I think some of that just being out there, and it just helps everyone process it a little bit more, and I think we can kind of just, you got to move on. Like I said, no one's going to feel sorry for us. I said that to the Iowa head coach, she was everyone's been so nice, we feel for you, it sucks, it does, but I told Jana, you still want to kick our ass, it's not gonna, no one cares. So this is life. What do we do? How do we respond? And again, that's what I'm really proud of.
Anybody better to have at the line there at the end of Jen? She didn't seem fazed by it.
And that was one thing that I was very adamant, and it doesn't always work out that way, but Kat does a lot of our in-game getting the ball, and I said, we need the ball in Jen's hand. I really, we need to get in her hand if we all can, and we execute it. Again, execution. We executed to get the ball into her. She got it, and she made the free throws.
Hold on.
Shauna, defensively, what you guys were able to do, how much went into that, and what can that do for you guys to have? I think outside of that second quarter, it's pretty much maybe some of the better defense we've seen you guys string together all year.
I agree, and it's different guarding them than, let's say, when we beat Oregon, and I said that was our best defensive effort of the year, because Oregon, they run more sets, and then it's different. Like Iowa, they run a lot of different action to get certain people the ball, but there's always, they're always going to pound it in, and they cut so hard, and they're constantly moving. So especially when you're only playing, 6-7 kids, the cumulative effect with their offense is really hard to guard. And then you have 2 really good post players and you can't double. You really can't double. They spread you so much. We tried to muck it up a little bit. But it was one-on-one with KB 6'1" against 6'4", 6'5". Again, toughness, KB. She did an unbelievable job on those kids. So this was a little bit different mindset. We talked a lot. Obviously, what Lucy does. We know we want to keep her high. We want to keep the post high. But a lot of it was just our principles. And that's what I've been stressing the last 2 days. Our principles, positioning for us is key. Positioning is our help. Trying to stay out of rotation. We weren't in rotation tonight. Washington, we were in rotation almost the entire game, and Minnesota had us in rotation. So those things, we executed our defensive core values and philosophy, even more so than a scout specific, as I think Oregon was a little bit more scout specific. Their offense leads to just really having to be principle based and disciplined.
Last one.
What did the end of the half tell you? Because it was 29-20 and it felt like you could get out of hand, and for you guys to get it to 29-27 and go into the half. Jazz said it on the radio that she felt like we were going to win at that moment.
I thought that was huge. They made a run into that, and I think it was 450 was in that media, and I just told our team, like, they went on their run. We knew they were gonna go on a run. I think they might have been up 7 or 9 at that immediate timeout. I said, but we're good. We're gonna go. We got one battle left in this half. We're gonna go on our run now. And I thought we made, some big time plays down the stretch, and them not getting that, I forget exactly what happened, but they had a shot at the end, right? And they didn't make it. We've given up, I think, the last 2 end of the half shots, and that is a complete momentum changer. So I think we ended with that stop, and we went on that little run, and I think we felt really good. And the first thing I said when we got in the locker room, we're right where we want to be. We're right where we want to be. It's a 1-possession game, and then from then on out, we came out, held them 16 in the third, and to hold this team to 12 in a quarter is I'm really proud of them for that. Thank you, guys.